What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Avron. We've got an exciting video for you today. Today we're going to talk all about the Fusion. We're going to go over all the performance mods and aesthetic mods that I've did to it in the past couple years to take it from this to this. It's a nice beautiful day out here in Arizona. It's a nice balmy 95 degrees, but without further ado, let's head on into the garage. Alright guys, before we get started on this video today, as always, if this is your first time here at the channel, please hit that subscribe button below, hit the like, give it a thumbs up if you like what you see today. Plenty more content coming for the Fusion and the truck, and all kinds of other toys and goodies over there. With everything Avron, as always. All my platforms, Instagram, YouTube, even Facebook. Makes it simple to find me guys. With that said, let's go ahead and get going. Let's go ahead and get started with the most prominent thing that I have on this Fusion, which of course is the vinyl wrap. I actually purchased this roll. I think it was a 5x20 foot roll off of eBay. There's plenty of different sizes, there's plenty of different brands, plenty of different colors you could get online. So I'm not going to really put a link up because there's so many choices to choose from. But it all comes down to pretty much just how much you want to pay and the quality of vinyl itself. Unfortunately, I don't have any videos of me installing this vinyl. After a couple years, it's actually starting to crack in the Tucson sun. So we'll have a video coming up pretty soon of me taking off this vinyl, probably starting with the hood and then going all the way to the back. And then we'll actually reinstall some vinyl, probably get some 3M, better quality, which will hold up a lot better here in the Tucson heat. To start off all the vinyl wrap on this car here, I think I started with this front little grill piece here. It was the smallest, it was the simplest. It gave me a chance to actually fill the vinyl out because that's a big part of the vinyl, is to know how it stretches and know how it adheses and know how easy it is to work with. So yeah, I think that was the first spot. After that, I believe I came to the roof. I actually had my brother come out here and help me with this. Believe it or not, even though this is the largest area that it had to cover, it was one of the easiest because it's a nice smooth contour. Following up after the roof, I came down to the hood here. This is actually just a little bit more difficult because of the slight body lines. Me not being a professional vinyl wrapper, all this stuff I was learning on the fly. I followed the body line of the Fusion all the way down to the front and the top of the grill. And I just continued that same piece of vinyl straight all the way down. It was real simple. Once again, with the wrap cut, just pulled it straight down. It made a nice even line. And then of course just wrapped it around the edges right there where the hood line goes. Down here is another piece that you probably wouldn't notice right off the back, but I actually continued the vinyl down here. This was actually fairly difficult because it's got like these little support pins between this bottom lip of the actual vehicle's front bumper, and trying to get this vinyl to wrap around that way as well as this way presented a pretty big challenge, even though it's such a small area. As we make our way to the back side of the vehicle, the last piece I actually wrapped was the trunk. I actually did it in 3 different pieces, the top, middle, and bottom. The trunk really presented a challenge to me because, once again, I'm not a professional vinyl wrapper, so I actually had to use YouTube, ironically, to figure out some techniques on how to wrap it around sharp corners and whatnot. But it turned out great. As a matter of fact, I left these parts silver to add a little bit of accent to the Fusion, and yeah, it looks even better than what I expected. Ignore this right here. I actually, believe it or not, backed out of the garage slightly before it was all the way up, and somehow it didn't dent the trunk. It just ripped off that small piece of vinyl. So once again, we'll have to re-vinyl wrap this, and that'll be a later video. The next thing I did with this Fusion here is actually the headlights and the fog lights. Both of these, the actual bulbs themselves, I upgraded to a Beam Tech LED bulb for both. If you see some pictures that I have when I first got the Fusion, it didn't have fog lights. I actually purchased these off of a guy who was parting out his Fusion titanium. So getting those from that titanium Fusion actually blended in perfectly because it had a gloss black overlay for the fog lights. Changing out the bulbs for these vehicles, not so much the fog lights, but the headlights, is a pain in the butt. Later on, I can actually show you a video on how to change the bulbs out the way I do it. There's many different ways. I've seen people take off the front wheel and then go through the wheel well, and then of course you can always take off the front bumper, which there's like a bajillion screws in this thing. But yeah, that's one thing that these Fusions are notorious for, is having difficult access to the light bulbs. Next up guys, you can't really see, but I'll post some pictures of the progress that I actually did. It's the H&R Sport lowering springs. I actually purchased those guys off of Amazon a while back, and it dropped the vehicle by about 1 inch. These are the stock 17-inch wheels and just some normal tires, so you can't really tell the difference quite yet, but I do plan in the near future to upgrade to probably 19s or so. I think that'll actually close this gap just nicely, as well as, believe it or not, getting some small wheel spacers, maybe like a 1/4 inch or so, because if you've ever seen wheel spacers on a vehicle where the tire and the wheel are actually a little bit more flush towards the vehicle, it looks great. So I think that's what we have in the future for this. If you can't tell, these are actually just the stock 17-inch wheels that Fusions come with, but once again I wanted to go with the silver and black theme, so this is simply just spray paint. I used rattle can spray paint. I don't actually plan on making a video on how I did this because it's of course already done and it'd be hard to explain. So just as a quick summary, pretty much all I did was actually sand the wheels down with an 800 then 1000 grit sandpaper, cleaned it real good with soap and water, dried it off, cleaned it real good again with some alcohol, dried that off once as well, and then came back through with 3 light coats of the gloss black, let that dry for a second, came back through with 1 more medium coat of gloss black, and then I repeated that exact same process with a clear coat. And it actually turned out excellent, it turned out great. And after 8 months of having this on here with dirt, road grime, debris, and then the Tucson heat, they're actually holding up excellent. So they look great. Next up, guys, is something you wouldn't really notice unless it's nighttime. It's actually the puddle lamps here. The normal puddle lamps on these Fusions is like the normal halogen bulb or incandescent bulb. I wanted actually a daylight bulb or a cool white color. So I actually bought these off of Amazon. And of course, let me turn them on. Bright white, so it matches perfectly with the theme that I'm going for this Fusion. In addition to the vinyl wrap, guys, I actually bought a small roll off of Amazon of black tint. It wasn't really a high quality tint, but nonetheless it was going to work perfectly for what I needed, which was simply to actually black out the side marker overlay. I don't like that little yellow amber color side markers, just like on the truck that you guys saw in the other video. And the last thing I did with this tint was actually black out the blinkers that are on the mirrors. Back at the back of the vehicle, guys, I didn't use that same roll for the tail lights here. I actually purchased pre-cut tint covers from Amazon. They have all kinds of different tints, 35%, 50%, and all the way down to 20%, which is what I have here. These are real simple, already cut out for you, so all you do is pretty much stick them on, smooth them out, and they'll work. One of my most favorite mods on the Fusion here, guys, is actually this front splitter or this front lip. I actually purchased this off of eBay a while back, and it came from China, so unfortunately it did take a little bit of time to get here. I think it was about a month, but nonetheless it just really accentuates everything that I'm going for with this Fusion. It matches the gloss black look, it's aggressive, it's nice, makes the car look real mean and fast. It's not really fast at all, but nonetheless it's got the looks that I wanted for this vehicle. Another mod I got on the outside, guys, is these door handle covers here. These are actually purchased off of eBay. They're actually a hard plastic which sticks on with some 3M tape. I didn't want to go the vinyl route because with all these sharp curves I didn't think it would stick very well, especially after opening and closing the door many times. But yeah, these work extremely well, and it even has the little groove on the bottom, so if you need to use the key, you pop this off and you can use your key to get inside the vehicle. But next up is the front grille. I actually purchased this guy off of eBay not too long ago. It wasn't too expensive. Reason I went with this one here, which is the gloss black honeycomb look, is because once again it blends in with the rest of the gloss black that I have on the vehicle. They have a couple other types, some that have the slats in it similar to the Mustangs or the Ford Modelos. But once again, this one blended in with what I wanted to go with. Last but not least is the reverse camera out here. It was real simple to install, but I actually had to purchase this myself because unfortunately the vehicle did not come with it. Just had to run the wire from the back of the vehicle all the way to the front. I actually had to order another piece on the inside, which I'll show you a little bit later, which will allow you to use it with your stock screen. So next up, let's talk about all the performance mods we have for this car. There's actually not any performance mods on this car because there's not much to improve on, and it's a slow piece of So for the interior of this car, like I said before with the reverse camera that I actually had to manually install, I actually had to purchase another piece from 4dtech.com for this Fusion. Pretty much it's an adapter that connects to the back of this screen and connects to the video output of the reverse camera, in addition to a little module which you connect to your OBD2 port down there, and it'll reprogram the vehicle in the background to accept a rear view camera if it's not already programmed for it. So another thing, guys, that this generation of Fusion does not have, believe it or not, is like a little armrest storage spot. This normally goes all the way through to the bottom where you couldn't put anything in there, change, chapstick, whatever you want. So I actually had to buy some. They were called the Vinsel armrest container door storage boxes, and yeah, they were real cheap, so I was able to find them for all 4 spots around the car. And yeah, like I said, you can now put stuff in there, whatever it is, your phone, keys, whatever, and it works great. So another must-have for all my vehicles, guys, is of course the Husky floor liners. I actually purchased these off of Amazon. I'm pretty sure you can find them off of eBay, but I was able to find a kit with the front, driver, and passenger side, as well as the full rear, for real cheap off of Amazon. So yeah, definitely a must-have. It keeps all the dirt off the ground. If you spill liquids, it'll keep it from your carpets. But unfortunately, Pearl, she's a white dog, so white hair gets everywhere regardless, but nonetheless, this prevents everything else from getting on my carpets. Alright guys, just like that, this video is over. But as always, if this is your first time at the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that like button if you like what you saw today, and definitely turn on that bell icon so you can see all the new content I have coming for the car, for many goodies I got, and the truck, of course. One thing like I did in the truck video, I wanted to tally up how much I've actually spent on the car in mods. And for the Fusion, it's $978.84. Not too much, but definitely just enough to make it look the way I wanted it to look, make it look unique, make it look like an extension of my personality. As always, thank you for watching. And of course, I'm Avron, and I'm out.